From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big Saturday morning with exciting details about your fourth stimulus check updated 2021 today. As the voting starting next week. The president calls the vote for the recon, and the excitement starts next week. We'll be going over that monthly stimulus check that the Democrats want you to have, when you're going to have it. And Jalapal and the president speak out about next week's voting. I have the breaking news on this Saturday morning's broadcast. Then the second half of this video, we go to fifth stimulus. That will have not just a fifth stimulus check, but also a raise of your benefits up a lifetime. And why did a guy out of St. Louis yesterday suddenly send Wall Street crashing, but sending hopes of a larger payout for fifth stimulus to you through the roof? I have all the incredible great news in this recording. And then we get thousands of dollars in the middle of this video. Thousands of dollars of viewers continue to get, and today is your chance to get it as well. It's a big morning. It's a big Saturday morning. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, the surf is up, and this is Mornings LALATE. Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Saturday morning. I hope you're having a beautiful Saturday. Ready to crush the weekend? Don't let the weekend crush you. Hope the weather is good where you are, and hope you're having a beautiful Saturday morning. Tell me where you're tuning in from, and how's the weather? The heat finally broke. It is nice and cool, breezy, a little bit overcast here in Santa Monica, live with you just before 9 o'clock this Saturday morning. Boy, we got a lot of exciting details in this morning broadcast, this extended one, because there's so much breaking news. The fourth stimulus heats up next week as the recon vote starts. The recon voting starting next week, and I'll be going over all the incredible details and what Jalapal and the president have been speaking about, and that monthly stimulus check from the Democrats. Then we turn to fifth stimulus that heats up this fall. And fifth stimulus has another stimulus check in there, but also the raising up of your benefits lifetime if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and Real benefits. And we'll see why a guy out of St. Louis may be giving you a lot more money if he's correct based upon Friday's statements. Wow. Then we turn to the big money across the board. Thousands of dollars of viewers continue to get. Today is your day. Even though it's Saturday, you can be getting this money over the weekend. I'm excited for you. This is LALATE, the only 24-hour a day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoons, 24 hours a day now. And we're next back with you with Mornings Crypto right after this video is over at about 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Then 11 a.m. today we have Home, noontime LA. The exciting breaking news about fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus in that video as well. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. Hit that subscribe button right now. I don't want you to miss a single video across the board. Like this video because it helps bring you better surfing weather. Also, if you like the video, it delivers you free pizza. I'm just trying that for today. Let's see if it works. Last week when I said hit the like button, it helped deliver the end of a heat waves in some parts of the country. So let's see if it works again today. You never know what happens when you hit that like button. Also, it helps with the algorithm ranking of the videos. And consider becoming a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Let's get into that monthly stimulus check starting right now from the House and the Senate. So the House bill and the Senate proposal both provide a monthly stimulus check, but they're slightly different. Let's compare. House, pandemic plus 1 year, monthly check. Senate, July to December, monthly check. Let's look at the payouts. House, $1,000 a month. After first month, $2,000. Senate, monthly unknown, but word on the street. This is what the Senate Democrats want to pay you. Wow. $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000. Or $1,400 a month over 6 months, $8,400. There you go. If you're in the live chat, get ready to vote which one you like, House or Senate. And also tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. But first, let's go back to one issue. This pandemic. These legislators may contend the pandemic is over If that's the case, then that would reduce the House bill to 12 months of checks over 12 months, which is $13,000. Let's compare that House bill to this from the Senate over 6 months. Yes, I think you have an opinion now. Vote House or Senate. House or Senate. Tell me which one you like. Jump into the live chat right now. Vote House or Senate. Tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. I think you have an opinion on that one. Boy, so who gets the fourth stimulus check? Democrats want everyone who got a third stimulus check to get a fourth stimulus check. So if you're a single individual, make less than $75,000, Democrats would give you a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, $150,000 or less, Democrats would give you a fourth stimulus check. Double it. Household, 4 or less, Democrats would give you a fourth stimulus check. Quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, Democrats would give you a fourth stimulus check. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, there you go. The fourth stimulus check is not income, so it's not taxable. And the fourth stimulus check is a monthly stimulus check. So it's not a waivable check. It cannot wave at you. So if you're at the beach this Saturday and you see the check walking by you on the boardwalk and say, "Hey, check, how are ya? Surf's up, cowabunga." The check didn't wave back. What a rude check. I hope you crash in that surf. It's not a rude check. It just doesn't know how to surf, and it's not a monthly. It's not a waivable check. Can't surf, and it's not a waivable check. So there you go. The Democrats represent that the final vote would be in the month of July. That means that you would get the fourth stimulus check in the month of July for the month of July, and in the month of August for the month of August, and that it will not be surfing anytime soon. So there you go. That's your fourth stimulus check updated 2021, part 1 of the 3 parts in this video. In this extended morning's broadcast, the second part of the fourth stimulus goes over the exciting details from Jalopal and the president's comments as the voting started next week. They speak out in advance of that vote, and I have all the incredible breaking news and great news. In the third part of this video, we'll be going over what to anticipate next week and what to expect during the voting process. It's all wonderful, and it's coming up later in this video. But in the second half of this video, we go over fifth stimulus. And boy, there's not only going to be a fifth stimulus check, but there's also going to be a raise of your benefits if you're on SSI and SSDI. But what happened on Friday? The head of the Federal Reserve out of St. Louis said the inflation rate is red hot. And if that's right, if the inflation rate is so hot, it will be raising your benefits an enormous amount, lifetime, as much as 10% lifetime. That's coming up in the second half of this video. But let's get some money. Let's get some money. Get a pen and paper ready, and if it must be a Crayola crown, at least match the host's pink shirt. If you're new to this channel, what I do is I get people money. I don't sit in front of a backdrop and read a script. I don't do stimulus predictions or stimulus psychic network readings. Yeah, I don't like tarot cards, and I don't know that thing with the Ouija board either. But what I do is I get people money. I got viewers $25 million of EIDL loans in 2020 to save their businesses, their homes, and their employees' businesses. Then in fall of 2020, the second stimulus was taking a little time to go out the door. And I got viewers $250,000 of rent and utilities. Well, guess what we're doing right now? As we anticipate for stimulus, I'm getting people rent and utilities once again. And let's get to the incredible details. Get that pen and paper, Crayola crown ready. We're going to be getting you rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and homeowners utilities. The rent is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. It's about $5,000, 4 to 6 months of rent. And I'm going to show you the different places you get it. Each has different eligibility. So if one says no, don't worry, reach out to the next. All right, you ready with that pen and paper? Here we go. You're going to reach out to City Hall, City Housing Authority, County Hall, County Housing Authority, State Hall, State Housing Authority. Keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage assistance because of COVID. You don't say words that they don't know, like stimulus. They don't know that word. And you don't bring up Mitch's bikini shop. They'll be like, what? I don't want to know that. That's a bad visual. So no, you don't bring up words that they don't know about. Yesterday on one of the live chats, one of the viewers said she couldn't find rent in her city. Well, that's why you also reach out to the county and the state. We had that problem in fall of 2020. A lot of people in the southwest states, southeast states as well, Mississippi, Louisiana, and also Missouri, they were not getting the rent from the city, but they did have it at the state level. So reach out to them. All right, congratulations to Tim and Linda who got this money for rent. The next pot of the money is wonderful. If you got in a penny or 100,000 pennies, and I've gotten both for viewers of this channel, jump in the live chat and say what you gotten, because every time it inspires someone else. This week I was inspired by one viewer who got $5,000 for this next pot of money. Last week someone got $6,000 for this pot of money, and I want you to get it as well. Let's go over the incredible details, and it is Snap. Snap is a fortune. It's a fortune. It is about $16,000 for a family of four in Hawaii. Wow, why so much money? Because of two wonderful executive orders. One from Biden, one from Trump that raise your benefits up 15% nationally now between now and December for everyone. So go get that Snap. Lynn Glenn got it for herself, for her mom and her son. Gail got it. Those two viewers won this week, 5,000 last week, 6 to 7,000. Wow. I want you to get it. And boy, we're killing it. You're killing it. If you got any money for this channel, jump in the live chat, but we're killing it. $16,000 for Snap, a family of four in Hawaii, $5,000 for rent, and we're only 11 minutes of this video. Well, I got more money for you right now. And it's $5,000 coming back from your states. Let's go over the details. One viewer got this money already. The federal government has identified states as overpaying you unemployment assistance due to computer error. Not your computer. Your computer works fine. It's their darn computer. Windows 98, time to upgrade. The federal government has said, no, it was the citizens' money to keep. The state has now been ordered to return the money back to you. Yes, congratulations. One viewer got $5,000 from this. So where are you going to receive it? To the account you have on file with that state. When? Reach out to your respective state for routing time on learning when they're returning that money back to you. And when you ask them where the money is, ask them not to use the same computer for tracking your check. Which brings us to the last pot of money, and the last pot of money is wonderful. It's the tax refund coming back from IRS. Countless viewers are getting it. Margaret got it, Cod got it, another viewer got it. Countless viewers on this channel. If you got it as well, jump to the live chat. Let's go over how much it is, when you're going to get it, how to track it, and all the details. First, how much? Let's say you had $9,000 of unemployment assistance. Your total tax bill is $5,000, and you paid $4,000 of taxes to IRS for the unemployment assistance. Congratulations, you're getting back a check of $4,000. Where? Direct deposit if you have that on the tax return. Otherwise, in the mail. When? This month. Can you track it? Yes, about 70% of the time you can track it. You can go into irs.gov and do a transcript search. It will reveal your last tax return you filed, the taxes you filed, the taco you had for lunch yesterday, the tostada you've ordered for today. Well, no, it doesn't have those things in there. But then it'll show the refund check you're getting. And there you go. That is your big, exciting details of that money coming back from IRS. But what's more exciting than that? The second of your third stimulus, your second of your 3 parts of your fourth stimulus check updated 2021, starting right now. What's going on next week? We're calling the vote. The President of the United States says, you're calling the vote. The voting of the reconciliation process starts next week. Hallelujah. We had heard and understood that the voting will end by July 4th, but the president has now made very clear the voting of the recon starts next week. To start, let's go over Jalapal and the president and other progressives' comments going into that voting next week. Yesterday, some viewers were confused by the comments, so let me explain them a little bit more detailed. I think a lot of the confusion comes from the fact that the sentences have double negatives in there. Grammatically confusing. All right, so Jalapal spoke out about this at the end of last week and said, the White House has not in any way told us progressives not to do what us progressives are doing. Wonderful news. I'll explain that to you in a second. Second, Brian Schatz, progressive out of Hawaii, says the White House has repeatedly told him that the White House considers the progressive priorities the White House's priorities, and that the White House has not asked progressives to do anything other than what they're doing. Wow. So let me explain what that means. What that means is the following. First, progressives in the Congress write your fourth stimulus law. The president doesn't write it. Remember, Congress writes laws, not the president. What the president does is he proposes what he wants in there. But in this case, the president has made very clear his line in the sand. His veto issue that he will absolutely demand that's in there, otherwise he's going to veto it, are two progressive policies. One, climate. Two, the CARES economy, which refers to seniors in medicine. So the president said, I want those two policies in there, otherwise I'm not doing it. Otherwise, other than that, you can go and do what you want to do. So the president has made very clear those are two lines in the sand. Well, both of those items are progressive policies. And guess what the progressives have said to the president? Yes, we're putting those progressive policies in there, and we're fighting for them for you. To which the president says, love ya, you can do your other progressive policies in there as well. And what other progressive policies are they doing in there as well? The monthly stimulus checks. The president wants his two progressive policies in there and says, you fight for those, I'll support whatever you put in there for your progressive policies. And their progressive policy, the monthly stimulus check. There you go. How did we get to this wonderful spot? We got to the spot of the Friday before Memorial Day weekend, when Leader Schumer confirmed three things which I've been reporting on this channel. One, the recon process has already begun. Two, it'll finish by July 4th. Three, it will finish with a passage. All right, how do we get to that point? When Jolapal had written Schumer a letter saying, Chuck, call the vote. Well, the letter was signed by 12 House Democrats who are among the House 100-plus House Democrats who had written the president a letter a week earlier saying, Mr. President, when we go to do forced stimulus, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in there. Wow, that's wonderful news. Can we top that? Yes. When 7 House Democrats wrote the president directly a letter in the last week saying, Mr. President, when we write for stimulus, we're going to be writing monthly stimulus checks in there. Well, who are these people to say that? What do they do for a living? What do they write for a living? They're on the House subcommittee that's solely exclusively responsible for writing stimulus checks. Did they write our first stimulus check? Yes. Did they write our second stimulus check? They did. Did they write our third stimulus check? They did. So are they writing our fourth stimulus check? They say they are. And they've updated us this week to say they're currently marking up the bill. Are they writing us a fifth stimulus check? They say they are as well. And that's coming up in the second half of this video. Wow. Now that's wonderful news. Can we top that? Yes, with two things from the president. One, he said going into this weekend, we're calling the vote. The reconciliation voting starts next week. Number two, Biden does it. He got to the finish line he anchored forced stimulus to the edge of the finish line by getting a provision internationally signed into law a week ago today. Let me explain the significance of that by going back a little bit. On a recent Tuesday ago, I said the president had done something wonderful, but it was confusing, and I needed to slow it down. So let me slow it down again right now. Fourth stimulus is paid for by raising the U.S. corporate tax rate. The U.S. corporate tax rate is the tax rate that corporations pay in the United States. That's easy to follow. Well, the president was worried that if he raised the U.S. corporate tax rate, that corporations in the U.S. would move to another country where corporate tax rates are lower. So he reached out to those other countries, said, let's all raise our minimum corporate tax rate. And they said yes, tentatively, to which the president that recent Tuesday ago reached out to his legislative team and said, I like how this is going. So in December, let's exchange Christmas gifts, but let's also have those other countries come back and have them sign on the dotted line. And when they sign on the dotted line, then we'll come back to forced stimulus and remove the provisions we don't need in there. Well, the president surprised us all. A week ago today, he met with those countries and got them to sign the agreement now, before forced stimulus becomes law. Not in December, after it becomes law. Now, before it becomes law. Anchoring forced stimulus to the edge of the finish line, because now those provisions about corporate taxes internationally are no longer needed in the forced stimulus package. They're in the international agreement, making it easier for the Democrats in the caucus to pass forced stimulus. It's wonderful news. And is there even better wonderful news than this? There is. It's in the third part of your forced stimulus check update of 2021 in this video. It's coming up after the commercial break with fifth stimulus that has another stimulus check and the raising of your benefits lifetime that could be as high as 10%. But is there better news than that? There is. The volunteers. If you need help with rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, internet, reach out to the volunteers. They're embodiment of the Purple Power spirit. Viewers helping viewers like how I help you. They step forward and they're now available for you nationally to help you find those items. So reach out to them. How do you find them? In the description of this video. Open the description. You'll find an emoji of a house. Click the emoji of the house. Next to the emoji of the house is a link to the community page, news.lalate.com/community. Click the link, it'll send you over to the community page. There are the volunteers. They can help you get rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, internet, and help you get on Snap. They cannot do other stuff, so do not ask them to cook you a tostada. Do not ask them to take out your dry cleaning, and do not ask them to take you to Mitch's bikini shop, because they don't have the directions. So there you go. More about them in this commercial break, and I'll be back in 60 seconds with exciting details about fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus heating up. Oh boy, stay with me for this extended morning's broadcast. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. The toast is toast, and the butter is buttering, and the coffee is brewing. It's Mornings LALATE, and congratulations to Cheryl Morales White, who got 350 hardship energy assistance from Community Action. I'm really excited for that. Thank you, Cheryl, for that very kind comment. It inspires everyone. She got from Community Action, one of the nonprofits that I always praise on this channel. This is LALATE. Make sure you subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Next stop, 1 million. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button. Like this video. It'll bring you pizza. I'm just trying that today. See if it works. Like the video. It'll bring you pizza. And consider becoming a member. Let's get right into fifth stimulus. In this big second half of this update, I'm going to be going over fifth stimulus and fourth stimulus. So much breaking news. That's why we have an extended broadcast. Fifth stimulus has a lot of details happening. First, let's go over the monthly stimulus check. Will fifth stimulus have a monthly stimulus check? Potentially, but the fifth stimulus check will be happening. Those 7 Democrats have indicated that the fifth stimulus check will be happening, and it will be next year. The call for a vote around November, the starting the legislation September. So September starting drafting out the door by about November, December, January, the fifth stimulus check. Fourth stimulus this year, fifth stimulus next year. Second, the president has dedicated $1 billion of his new budget to ensure that your checks go out on time if you are on benefits. He's dedicated $1 billion to the Social Security Administration. I'm very excited about this. This is especially important for all those viewers who had all those videos on this channel in February and March of this year. Where is my Direct Express card from Comerica's third stimulus check? Why is the Wave not sending out my check? They always send our checks last. He's trying to end all that so that make sure everyone's checks come to the same. Third, a lot of breaking details about that inflation rate. Fifth stimulus will raise your benefits up one time and then apply a new benchmark every December for next year's benefits if you're on SSI, SSDI, and veterans and other benefits. But we're trying to figure out what's going on with this inflation rate. Well, this last week, we had the Consumer Price Index and the Producer Price Index number released. And Wall Street analysts were the consensus that we are currently at about a 4% inflation rate and that we're heading up heading up to a temporary or a transitory spike that'll be somewhere around 10% before we go back down. Well, what happened on Friday and Wednesday? On Wednesday, your Federal Reserve head, the number one guy, Jay Powell, appeared before Congress, said, I don't want to talk about inflation. Of course, he doesn't want to talk about it. But the economy still needs stimulus. Good for you. And he said, I'm not doing any interest rate spikes for 2 more years until 2023. Good for you. So what happened on Friday? One of the people below him, the Fed chair out of St. Louis, just had to say something on broadcast media. It was totally different. And while she went down, he said that inflation is red hot right now. That's good for fifth stimulus. And then he said that those interest rate spikes may be end of next year, earlier, because he thinks we're too much inflation. We're red hot. Wow. So now let's go over how this works when we calculate your raise of your benefits under fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus will start by raising up your benefits one time, then applying that inflation benchmark in December, removing the asset limit, removing the income exclusion, and removing the marriage penalty. Let me explain how this calculates out, because this, folks, is wonderful news. This is a lot more than SS200 would ever have been. First, they're going to raise your benefits up lifetime, one time, one big pop. This is if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, multiple benefits. One-time lift under fifth stimulus. Got that? Okay. Then, every December, they apply a benchmark to determine whether to lift your benefits up next year. You know that. Well, the new benchmark is going to be inflation. You know that as well. And they also believe that inflation is going up later this year. You understand as well. But let's go over what you have to hope for. As inflation's going up, you have to hope it hits that peak right when they apply your benchmark in about November, December, before it goes back down. Because let's say it hits that peak of 10% potentially when they apply your benefits would go up 10%, not just next year, lifetime. This is huge, because once your benefits raise up, they never step down. You have to hope the peak, the spike of inflation, is right when they apply your benefits benchmark in November, December. What else is under that reform? Well, they're going to remove the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. Just time to put some stimulus checks in your hand. They're going to remove the income cap that prevents you from working. Now you'll be able to work. That 1960s law is going to go away. And finally, they're going to remove the marriage penalty. Love is going to win, and you're going to be able to marry your longtime love interest and no longer be penalized. Viewers like Sandy and Randy will be Sandy and Rob will be able to marry and no longer fear the marriage penalty. It's wonderful news. And there you go. That's fifth stimulus. There's a lot of other money, however, in fifth stimulus besides that. There's money in fourth stimulus, and there's money in third stimulus. So how do you know there's other money that's available for you? By becoming a member. Daily, the members are delivered from me a breakdown of the money, thousands of dollars, that's in third stimulus. You may have gotten a $1,400 third stimulus check, but did you know about the thousands of other dollars you're potentially able to get that's application-based? Well, I deliver those details in PDFs to you daily from the community page on YouTube. What's in the third, what's in the fourth, and what's in the fifth stimulus if you're a member. Consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat in the pinned comment, and get those details delivered to you daily. And there you go. Time for our final third part of our fourth stimulus check updated 2021. So much breaking news, so much to go over. I'm going to get to those details starting right now. 4 items I'm going to go over. Personal message, second. Vote in next week, third. Fake narrative, and finally, purple power. First, personal message. Yesterday on one of the shows, I think it was Afternoons LA, one of the viewers jumped into the chat and said that she had reached out to her lobbyist for Social Security Administration, who said to her that they had not heard about a fourth stimulus check. That's like reaching out to the guy on the taco stand in the corner and asking him about the fourth stimulus check. Why do people do this? I don't know. What's important to understand is that stimulus checks are not psychic events. They're not predictor events. They're not conjecture events. The Social Security Administration does not send out your stimulus check. The Social Security Administration does not write the legislation. They're not on the congressional floor. They're not on the House subcommittee writing the stimulus check legislation. So they have absolutely nothing to do with it. Why would you ask someone that has nothing to do with it with that situation? It's the same as a person who's on a front porch who turns to a friend and says, "Do you think we're going to get it?" Yesterday, someone in the live chats jumped in and asked, "Do you think we're going to get it? Do you think we're not going to get it?" You shouldn't be doing that because these are legislators. Legislators could have something in there at 9 o'clock in the morning, and by 11 o'clock it could be out, and by 11:30 it could be back in there. So you should never be sitting around and playing psychic games or conjecture or opinion games of the situation. I'm not the Psychic Stimulus Network. I'm not doing speculation or psychic predictions of what's going to go on or what will happen because no one knows except the legislators. Let's go over that legislative process for next week so you understand that. But first, I want to go over what they're doing right now. They're marking up the bill. What does that mean? It means that they have a pen and they have the draft of the bill. Marking up the bill means they have a pen that has ink on one side and an eraser on the other side. So at any time, they could be erasing something out that you really want in there, or they could be writing in something that you really want to have included in there. So let's go over the 9 voting steps. And during these 9 voting steps, they're still marking up the language. Step 1, the subcommittee of the House votes on the procedural bill. Step 2, the House floor votes on the procedural bill. Step 3, the Senate votes on the procedural bill. Step 4, the President signs the procedural bill into law. At that point, the tow truck is passed over the finish line. Time to go get the tow hitch. The important steps, step 5, 7, and 8, in which everyone has their pen out with the ink and the eraser and could be making changes. So, step 5, the House subcommittee, which can be writing monthly stimulus checks, finishes writing their provisions and calls it for a vote in the House subcommittee. It's at that point that the monthly stimulus checks could be in there. Then, step 6, the House votes on the substantive bill. Step 7 and 8, very important. The 2-day vote-a-rama in the Senate. The senators receive from the House whatever written by the House members. 3 possibilities. 1, the House has no stimulus checks in there. The senators can amend and add them in there. Possibility number 2, the House does have stimulus checks in there. The senators can leave it alone because they like it. Or possibility number 3, the House has stimulus checks in there, and the senators think they need to be amended, and they amend it. And finally, step 9, the president signs into law. Which brings us now to fake narratives. Next week, we're going to have a little bit more of the following fake narrative, which manifested itself late last night. It's very weird. I've never seen this one before. This is the U-Haul fake narrative. This is where certain Democrats, and I think you know which one I'm referring to, certain Democrats will say, "I have a U-Haul truck back outside, Jessica." And the U-Haul, and then Jessica's like, "What's in the U-Haul truck, Bernie?" He says, "It's my Brussels sprouts provision. And unless you put my Brussels sprouts provision in the fourth stimulus, I'm not voting in favor of it." Well, these people do this every time. They do this every time. They fold like lawn chairs. We saw this last time. We've seen this with the minimum wage like 3 times in a row. Unless you put minimum wage in there, I'm not voting in favor of it. Unless you put this thing. They suddenly come, but sometimes they're good provisions, and sometimes they're just like, what? This doesn't belong in here. Brussels sprouts, the turnip provision, the sauteed carrot provision, unless it's in there, I'm not voting in favor. So they do that, and they started doing it yesterday. Certain Democrats that always do this say, "I have a line in the sand," until they sort of walk over the line in the sand. They're like, "Okay, I'll vote for it." So I want you to ignore that. Also, when we get to the final closing days of the voting process, one thing I forgot to say to you. During that 9 voting step process, they can do several of the steps in the same day, with the exception of the vote-a-rama. The vote-a-rama has to be a certain number of hours. So they can do some of the several steps in the same day. One of the next things I want to go over for you is that if you remember from second stimulus and third stimulus, certain things happening, those things will happen again. That's why the overnight throwback videos are very helpful for viewers, because it shows them how things happen, because they're going to happen again. One of the things that will likely happen again is conservative media always always, down to the very last day of the vote, tries to find or make up a story about a particular senator who is going to vote against it. And they never are voting against it. The conservative media wants to scare you and think that it's not going to pass by recon, and it does pass by recon. So I expect conservative media will start being running these Joe Manchin's not going to vote in favor of stories at the very last 11th hour. Ignore them. I want you to only be listening to the president, Chuck, Jalapal, myself, and this community in those final days, because it's going to be a lot of fake narratives. You're going to see it from the print. You're going to see it from GOP members, and you can also see from the Democrats who's going to say, unless you give me my bridge to San Francisco. That was Nancy. I'm not voting in favor. She took it out. They've done this before. Finally, Purple Power. You've been doing a great job. You've been doing a great job. It was a week ago today where I went on air and I said, hey, we had 12 tweets in 12 hours, 12 total. I said, that's not going to work. So you've been doing a great job. Who else to tag on social media? Not just your Democratic House members and Democratic senators, but also the progressive caucuses and their heads and vice heads. So like the progressive House caucus, its chair, its vice chair, the Senate Progressive Caucus, if there and its chair and its vice chair, anyone in the progressive wing, because ultimately they're the people fighting for your monthly stimulus check. And Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Instagram. As one viewer said, not only do tweets, but also retweet. So search for the hashtag Purple Power altogether, the hashtag MSC, and see other people's tweets and retweet them. If it's easy to do 30, 40 retweets in just a second, just bam, 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 you just go right down. They're going to see all that because they're going to be back in the office on Monday, and they're going to see, wow. I mean, some of them open their Twitter accounts obviously on the weekend. They're going to see it as well. Finally, if you don't use social media, then the old-fashioned way, the telephone. Call up their DC offices, talk to their staffer, be professional, and express why you need a stimulus check. Humanize the story so they understand your situation and understand the importance. On Thursday, the new jobless number was released. It was bad. It was bad. Jobless claims went up. New jobless claims, which is not people who just went off and on and off and on. These are people who were never unemployed in the last year. The number went up, suggesting we do need more stimulus checks, but ultimately humanize it with your insight as well. And with that, thank you for joining me on a big morning's extended broadcast. I'm next back with you with Morning's Crypto. It starts right after the show, so stay with me. It goes right into that, and boy, crypto is just going all over the place the last 24 hours, so join that. And then at 11 a.m., I'm back live on air with Noontime LA. That's going to be a big broadcast, a lot of breaking news still about fourth and fifth stimulus. So with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers. I don't want you to miss a single video. Hit that subscribe button. I want you part of this family. Like this video. It delivers free pizzas, pepperoni until noontime. And consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused, stay positive, and stay with LA.